King Swift. As always, thanks for your time, thanks for viewing the video, thanks for watching, thanks for being there, it's been brilliant. And I've got a couple of little bits to talk about later on. But first things first, let's see what we're doing today. On the last video we were looking through the bottom of the bilge basically, going towards the front section of the boat. We had a look inside the water tank. I've ordered some acid for that tank because I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced about the construction of the tank. When I looked at it, I'm assuming it's aluminium, but the outside sternal tank is stainless steel. But it does look like there's some sort of liner in there. So at some point, that whole top of that tank has got to come off. So today, as I said last time, we're looking further back. This section here, I was going to use it and bring the heating in here and duct round. But I've changed my mind on that completely because I'm thinking I've got so much areas around the boat where I can take heating duct in. There's no need. So once this board is veneered, it's going to go into place, and that's basically going to stay there. And then the steps, when they're ready, the last thing to do with all these steps, they'll be polished and done as well. So you'll see through it. So it just become another useful space on the boat. Right, so that's that one. The next one is going to be the shutter. Now the shutter itself, if we look at it, that's had a veneer on it at some point, and obviously we can't do anything with that. It's got to be veneered, and I'm going to use veneer in a few other places which I'll speak to you later on. There's two types of veneer going today. One where we're using wood glue, and one where we're using contact adhesive. And I'll explain that to you right now, and I'll show you what we're using. Right, basically, this is the glue. We'll use this if the wood we're going on to is untouched, so it's had no other varnishes, it's had no other stains, or basically it's varnish. Varnish is your enemy. Wood glue doesn't like varnish, it doesn't really bond, it likes to sink into what it's going on to. So that panel below our feet under the steps, that will get the wood glue, because it's the best stuff for it. Anything what's got a veneer already or has been treated is going to get this. It's the 528. It's an industrial type of contact adhesive basically, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. But there's a way of using it which we're going to go into, but we're going to do both. So we've got one panel which is going to be done with the wood glue, and one panel which is going to be done with the adhesive, contact adhesive. And this is the stuff we're going to be using. This is a walnut. Now there's going to be other parts of the boat, you'll be surprised where this will be used. It's fantastic stuff. I can only get this from America, and I will put a link in where I get it from. It comes from a craft section, not really, but it comes from America. It's 4-week weight. And what this is, it's a walnut on a wood. And it is literally, it is wood. It's wood. And on the back is a paper. Now in the UK, it's very common to get other types where you've got an iron-on one. I've never used the iron-on ones. I've always ever used these. They're quite brittle to start with, but we're going to go over this and what the best way of using it. Board under the step, or behind the step, I should say. Because we're going to use a wood glue, we don't need to prepare this too much. That's just going to be sanded, just to get any lumps or bits, like a bit there. We've got a little bit, looks like filler. Just get rid of it. We want it to be as dust free as possible, to be honest, but it doesn't matter too much. That is pretty much it. We give that a dust off, and we're going to get some wood glue on this, and it is literally just on this one panel we do. Okay, before we do that, we'll cut the piece we're going to put on. Right, let's grab the piece. We'll do it after. We'll do it when it's actually bonded to the board. I'll just use standing knife on this actually. There we go. Right, that's a little bit in here. This is what we're going to use. Right, I'm not going to mess with it. There's no measuring to do. Just put a dab on there and spread it about a little bit. Don't need loads. Now, the trick with it, I'll move this out of your way. The trick with this is because this veneer has a paper backing, Basically, you don't want a really thick glue. So if you see what I've got there, that's quite thin. I've put quite a lot more on than what I've done. But basically, that's what we're heading for. Something like that, quite thick, because what happens is the paper will absorb the glue. It basically dissolves, and then it takes the veneer and bonds it to the wood. Right, I think we better hit it with a bit more glue than that. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Right, that'll do. Right, let's see how we get on with that. Nice and even. I've actually got too much, I think. When we get to the end, I reckon I'm going to have a little pile of glue. And that's it, so we've got no heavy bits showing. I can already feel that going a bit tacky. Right, veneer. You can use a bit of wood or anything like that. You can use anything you want really. Use a roller. I actually use this. It's actually a blade. I don't use it as a blade, but it's got a plastic cover, and it's perfect for this. Right. With wood glue, it's very forgiving. If you don't get it in the right place first time, we can play with it. With the contact adhesive, you don't get that chance. You've got to be really careful how you apply it. So with this, it's just literally going to go on. There we go. It's more than covered. We'll take the excess stuff afterwards. Yeah, very forgiving. Because this is literally the size of this panel. Which is fine. That's it. I'm very lucky with that. It's a bit like doing a tinted window, which we will be doing on this boat. We will be doing tinted windows. So I'm just forcing any air out. And you can use a roller. I prefer these because you can feel, when you're going across it, you can feel the air. That's the end, it's okay. Get the edges, make sure you push them edges in. Really important. Once it's dried, we will give this a very, very light sand, just a very light something like this, nothing more. Then it'll be varnished. That's how easy this stuff is. But you've got to let it dry now, and now we look at the contact adhesive one, which has to be done in 2 parts. Okay, this is the door hatch. Now, the door hatch, I've taken it off. It had a slider, a handle goes here. We're going to have a look at this because there's a couple of big dings in this, and I think we can reuse it. Maybe sand in, because it's an authentic piece, and I like the shape of it, and it's built for the job. So once that goes on, this side we'll do first, and then when the door hatch goes on, we'll do it after we treated this side. The screws will go through here and they'll be bonded on. So, but that's the last thing we do. We get, obviously this has got to be veneered first. Okay, that's one more thing with this, is this has a strip of hardwood at the very end. We're going to take this off. We'll take it off now actually, because we'll put a new one on. Take this off because you don't want it. Basically what I'll do with this is I'll just copy it. There's too much damage to it. It's been caught and banged in. But we can make a new piece out of sapele, or we've actually got some oak. We've got some oak down here. and the oak, I do believe, is the same size as this. So if we then put when we get to this point, not today because it's obviously gluing off, but yeah, we can put an edge on it and put a bit of oak on the end as a bit of a hard stop. Okay, next thing to do, sand. We need to sand it down. That's a shame about this piece really, because it's a really nice veneer what's on it, but it's this piece here you see. This was a veneer, this is a piece of marine blight underneath this, and it's exactly what we're doing in the boat, all over the boat. But yeah, it's a really nice veneer as well. If it was in its day, that would look absolutely gleaming, that would have been absolutely stunning. And we're just replacing it with this, but we're doing it in a walnut instead. So this side is done, there's no rough edges. So that's good enough. The side we're going to do first is this one. Oh no, sorry, that is the front. That's the side we're going to do first. We might as well. This is the rear. Again, it is a veneer. It is a veneer. We only need to roughen this up. That's all we need to do. Just make sure it's absolutely smooth, and so there's no thing. I might fill these with a bit of wood fill, just to be on the safe side, because you can always put holes through after. So there's no room for error. Right, crack on. It's literally just, we don't want a soft spot in the veneer, so we just wet it on and give that a few minutes to dry. We go over that. It's to dry very quickly. Filler, but it's just a finishing filler. It's not a proper. You can't do deep stuff. That's what we use a 2-pack for. But this will do this fine. And, we've got a little bit there, look. That's where the old hatch used to catch. There's a story about this, actually. It goes back to 1969. And I'll tell you this one day. I'm going to have a bit of a video of some of the stories of this boat. You'll be quite amazed at some of them. And that's one of them. And the woman who told me that story, well I do tell you it, is still alive and lives in San Francisco. Fantastic. Right, let it dry. This one's a bit different. Obviously, it's contact adhesive, so we've got to do both. We've got to do the veneer and the panel, and we've got to wait for it to just go just right, just enough for it to do its job and grab. So let's do the veneer first. Now this is, I've got the doors open in the boat to get some air through here because this can be quite strong. Basically I'm just going to literally, same as before, I'm just going to mix up a bit more. I don't want loads on this. You can use a spray as well. I do have sprays. I'm just going to see how I get on with this first as it is. Sometimes you get bits like that, but there is contact on there. It's just got a different shape for some reason. Don't know why. Okay. There we go. That's that one done. Make sure we've got none on the front. Move it. This is a bit easier because it's not going to be as absorbent. We just put a little bit up and down it. Now, got to the bit where it's tacky, but we're not getting anything on our fingers. So, this is where you've got to place the veneer quite well. The veneer is the same. This is a little bit oversized. So I know if I get to here, I'm not going too far out. I'm on the edges. There we go, we're there. Right, so that's now off. Now we do our usual. Got a bit of wood glue on there, look. That's off. It's not the same as wood glue. this stuff. This will just grab almost immediately, and it will go off fast as well. The 528 goes off very quickly. So the chances are, the bit we're putting a bit of varnish on today will be this one, just to give an example. And it does, I mean, look at it, I love this stuff. I find wood glue is very bubbly and you have to get it totally thin. It's not very forgiving. Apart from we've got a bit of wood on there. And but this stuff, as long as you get it on thin and you get it on at the right time, you're quick in with it. But I'd rather use the wood glue because it's extremely expensive. But what we're doing is expensive, so right, my other little trick. Let's get a little bit of this wet wipes, get this wood glue off. Put that on there. That'll come off. Okay, now you'll notice I'm getting a few push-ups, so I'll just literally use a little bit of a roll. There you go, push them in. That's just where the glue there was probably still a little bit too wet, or maybe a bit too thick. That's it, that pushes in. Tip of the day, masking tape, it's soft, does the job. Just roll it over, pushes it straight back down again. Okay, so that's, I have actually done both sides, I'm not going to pick it up too much, but that is the shutter for the hatch, and it's come out okay. I mean, I've got a little bit of air to come out of it, which I'm going to use my little roller, which is just basically what I use. Is a masking tape. It's soft and does the job. Sand that, and we can put some varnish on that, and that will come up. You will be amazed what it comes up like. Okay. There's no stain needed. There's no need. It is what it is. Hemple, brush, and we're just going to give it one light coat. Just make sure there's no dust on it. It's all been cleaned down. It's had a very light sand. So put one very light coat on, just to seal it up, and you'll just be amazed at the difference how this walnut veneer comes out. And you bear in mind, this will have 3 or 4 coats go on this, and don't be surprised if it slightly pulls up a little bit when the varnish goes on. It will pull back down. It always does a little bit, just a little bit, but it's fine. That's coming on, and you can see the difference. And I'm only putting a very thin coat. I just want to seal it. That's all I want to do. Okay, a quick thank you. A flag. I always said I'd get a flag done if I hit 1,000 subscribers, and I hit 1,000 subscribers. My house is still building, but I'm getting there. And the nice thing about it is people are supporting this channel. I thank each and every one of you for supporting this channel, because it's going to help me out a lot. Because now I can approach some chandlers and some maybe some pliers and say, you know, can I have a bit of a discount, you know, or a trade account or something like that. I've got 1 or 2 in mind. I know one which has already said to me, come and have a chat. So yeah, it's going to help us. It's going to help the boat, it's going to help me, and I'm hoping that if I can get anywhere with this, it can help you with some links or maybe some discounts or something in the future. So thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Here's my flag. Here's my 1,000, and yeah, I like it. Now, it wasn't a cheap flag, so maybe the next 1,000 I'll get another one, maybe a bit smaller. Right, thank you. Let's get on. We're going to have to do a little walk over to the other boat, I think, because this morning, I'll show you a quick picture of this, the Marksman was basically sitting on its belly, and when that happens, it's always good to check it, make sure the outdrives aren't leaking and stuff like that. And the Marksman's going to become part of the channel at some point, because there's a bit of work to be done on the Marksman as well. So at the moment, where are we? Board to the left goes below. The shutter over there is drying. But for now, let's take a walk over to the Marksman and I can give you a little look at how you check something like this if you're concerned about outdrives. Okay. This is the problem when you have boats in winter, or coming to the end of winter, and you get a really low tide, and you need to check them, because if you don't, sure enough, something's going to spring a leak, and bingo, you'll be sitting on the bottom of the river. Okay, and it's a good time to introduce. It's a good introduction to the Marksman as well, because it's going to become the heart of the series, or it won't become part of the Pirate series like I said, but it will become part of the channel, because it's going to be playing a big role at some point, having some repairs done, and obviously the future of the Marksman. I won't make a decision on some other day, but at the moment we need to check it. Okay, well, it looks like she's floating again, which is a good thing. She's definitely floating. She's looking stable, but we'll get inside and we're going to check there's no water in the back of the boat, make sure no seals got damaged or anything while it's on the bottom. Okay, let's go. Okay, welcome to the Marksman. It's a lovely boat, but you can tell by the steering moving on its own, we're still quite close to the bottom. It means the props are basically touching the floor, touching the riverbed, sorry, floor, where did I get floor from? Touching the riverbed. But this is a lovely boat I've done a few years ago. Still need a little bit doing to it, needs a bit of improving. But what we need to do is take up these panels, put a torch in the back, and just double check that we've got no water. You'll notice I've got some big blankets over the engines, and basically it's semi-winterized, but you know, they're two big BMC diesels sitting underneath here. They're lovely engines, they're lovely smooth, and they certainly know, they can certainly give you some power. But let's get a torch in at the back. Now I do have a little bit of water in the back there, if I get it. Nah, there's nothing in there worth knowing about. Drives look good. No, that looks okay. And there's a bilge pump sitting at the back there. I do expect a little bit of water in there, because it's the furthest part of the boat, but you've got to just make sure you've got nothing. You do get a bit of condense, a bit of rain here and there, but considering, that looks okay. That looks okay. Now, what you can do on this boat, they're permanently powered up, which is the bilge pumps. So we've got one under this is the central. You can give it a run. That's obviously got no water there. That's the one at the back. There's a little bit at the back there, but nothing to worry about. A lot of that would be condensed, or we did have some heavy rain the other week when I was on the boat and the cover was open, so the chances are what we're looking at is what rain got into the boat, because I tell you not, it doesn't take a lot of rain to make a bit of a puddle in your boat. Welcome to the Marksman, by the way, and when we do one for the Marksman, if you want me to take the Marksman up the river any time, we'll give it a go. Let the weather just get a little bit better though, just a tad better, and we'll give her a run up the river, and we'll have a video just on that as well. Maybe a 24-hour nut stay over somewhere, and I'll introduce you to some of the rivers around here. So take care everybody, thank you for watching, thank you for subscriptions, you've really supported the channel, and I appreciate absolutely everything. Thank you, take care.